Hello, Jason here again. Today I'm going to do a bass worm for you. The hook is a Gamakatsu SC17, size 1/0. The thread's 210 denier. The body on this fly is a bunny brush from Montana Fly Company. I'll move the vise out of the way. This is a relatively new product from Montana Fly. Very cool product. The flash will be Wapsi's Palmer Chenille, and the cone head is Rivers Wild Sculpin Head. The weed guard, we're going to throw the weed guard on. This weed guard is made out of stainless steel 12 1/1000 wire. We will start the weed guard, put it through the eye from the bottom, and then securing it. Be careful around the cut end of this because it will go right through, cut the thread. Once we have it secured, and you can see it just wrapped around the shank of the hook from the top, bend the wire back towards the hook point, and then I usually measure about to where the barb is, and then you'll fold it in half, and then you'll string it right back through the top. Fold it back along the top of the hook and then secure it. And like I said, just be really careful around the cut section, the cut ends, because it'll cut your thread. I want enough thread base on there to where the sculpin head fits snug. The Rivers Wild sculpin heads are pretty cool. They come in some pretty big sizes. I put different color eyes on this one. They usually come in like a yellow eye, but you can also take those out and mix and match whatever color you want in there. I got too much thread on there. There we go. So there's our weed guard and our cone head on there. Reattach the thread. We'll take one of the dubbing brushes. And we'll secure it just on the top of the hook. I'm going to move the camera to go towards the back a little bit. You'll want about 2/3 of the length of this dubbing brush, or measure however long you want the worm to be, and then we'll cut it. And then what we'll do is we'll try to expose the wire. So we just leave, we just want a little anchor point that we can put the tail on, if that makes sense. Get a piece of 2mm foam. I'm going to move the fly out of the way. Get a piece of 2mm foam, fold it in half, and then just cut a half circle out of it. It doesn't need to be perfect. What we're trying to shoot for is just something just like that. Once we bend it over, poke a hole with some scissors. I'll bring the fly back into the picture. And what we're going to do is we're going to, with that hole that we just created, we're going to run the dubbing brush through there. Just like that. Now we'll get our fly tail, put a little dab of super glue on the foam, And we'll take our fly tail. Then we'll just close that piece of foam. Just hold it for a couple seconds and let that super glue attach, and then it's on. So that's what we should look like at the end. Okay, then we will get the part of the unused dubbing brush, secure it, and then you're just going to wrap this like a hackle. And there's really there's no rhyme or reason. It doesn't need to be as perfect as certainly a dry fly hackle. We're just trying to take up some hook and create a little bit of a body. Stuff some back behind the cone head as best you can. My fingers are in your way. Once you get it in there, just secure it. So that's what we're looking at right there. Let me move the camera, I'm sorry. So that's what we're looking at right there. Take your Palmer Wapsi chenille, secure it with a couple wraps, and then all we're going to do is just give it a little bit of flash. About one wrap's worth is all we really need. And that just gives the fly a little bit of flash. And then we will whip finish. Put a good dose of head cement back there. And to finish the weed guard, take a pair of forceps, and at the tip of the weed guard, just grab the very end of it where we folded it over, and then just bend it straight up to create a 90-degree. And then what that'll do is now our weed guard sits right on top of the hook. And when a fish gets it, it gets out of the way, and you get to hook the fish. But other than that, that is a fantastic weed guard. Let me get this fly wet, and you'll see how it looks like a worm. This is what the fly will look like. Let me zoom out here for you. That is what the fly will look like wet. Nice slim profile. It casts really lightweight, and it fishes very good. Thank you. Have a good day.